And in the Division 3 competition in season 2013, it was Panton Hill which broke its extremely long senior premiership drought, their first win in the Northern Football League and back into the old former Diamond Valley League. Of course, they'd had one 58 years ago back in the Panton Hill League, but what a year it was for Panton Hill. It was a great finish to the season with that one point grand final result as well. And for Panton Hill, this was on the back of years of hard work, wasn't it? They were runners up last year and this year with a few youngsters in the side, the Nathan Hendrys, the Duckworths, the Tyler Scarces. They certainly pushed up and became the best side in Division 3.
And it was great to see them coming back from last year's grand final as well. I remember it was a humiliating defeat and then become strong all year. Only dropped 2 games, won the second semi-final. It was a close grand final though. You almost thought they just about lost it there, but they got up in the end. It was great, and I look forward to seeing them in Division 2 next season.
Some of the real highlights of the season came on that last day, and Jared McGough's mark and goal deep in the game. Just to see the reaction of the crowd when that one went through, and some of the folk that were there for their previous premiership back in the day, and to see the look on their faces when they won it, it really was one of the stories of the season. Dean Haydock was the coach of the year, of course, and so many Panton Hill players in that team of the year. Ben Finnan led the way as the competition leading goal kicker, and Joffa Byron, well, he was leading goal kicker last year with over 100, and he goes back to a half-back flank, so they had plenty of depth this year. Watsonia, well, they were the real improver, weren't they, Ramon? They were 7th last year, bottom of the table, won just once. In the space of 12 months, they were grand finalists.
Yeah, looking on this season, as you mentioned, it was the last year they finished last. This year, grand finals. What an amazing turnaround, and nearly went on to win the flag as well. I'm not sure how next season is going to go. I think it can really go either way, but just looking on this season, it was a really successful year, and I really do hope that the players stick together and play another big year next season.
Lockie Dornoff played a massive part in it. A playing coach at just 21 years of age, won the competition Best and Fairest award, obviously brought so many players along with him as well, so he's the nucleus of that team. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him, because I think the offers will come from higher levels, whether it even be at VFL level as well. He had a great year, but so many players really stood up this year. I thought Jeremy Bennett, well, he's a class act in the forward line. Riccardi really complimented him as well, and the likes of Tom Wallace. Tony Hogg was good in the ruck, coming back into that Watsonia outfit, and plenty to look forward to for them. It was a massive success as I guess on the club level. They won the 2013 Club of the Year. The reserves on the premiership as well, and as a whole, I think 2013 will look back on as a fond year for the Watsonia Footy Club. In third place this year was Thomastown, coming down and playing their first year of Division 3 football. At their best, they looked the side most capable of stopping Panton Hill, but just struggled for consistency late in the year. And that draw to St Mary's, the couple of games that they slipped up where you thought they probably would win those games. And in the end, even in the prelim, I think they went in as the slight favourites, despite Watsonia coming in with the double chance in the final series. And just couldn't match it with Watsonia throughout the year. 4 losses there, but for them it was good for the Thomastown folk to be able to go to the footy again and see their side winning games, because they had some pretty tough years in Division 2.
Yeah, it's good to see them go back in Division 3. I did expect a lot more from Thomastown, though. I honestly thought they could go on and make the grand final. As you mentioned, though, Watsonia just had the wood over them, and I think the last thing they want to do is play against them in the preliminary final. Once again, it's good to see them play finals. The reserves went out in straight sets as well, so they're going to have to build in next season, but they do have some talent there, so we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Well, of course, it was Steve Kristevski's first year as coach. The highlight for them was certainly that first semi-final win over Reservoir, but a very young side as well, and exemplified. But I mean, you look at a player like Michael Di Battista, a star of the team, and third in the competition Best and Fairest award. He's playing under 19s footy last year, so plenty to work with for Thomastown, and you certainly feel that they're not too far away from really being top of the table in Division 3. Reservoir finished 4th on the ladder, and this year wasn't quite the year that they had last year, was it? They struggled with injuries throughout. They couldn't get their best side on the park at any stage really throughout the year, and early on in the year they lost Toby O'Meara. When he came back, Ashley Flavel went out of the side. Dallas King was in and out of the senior side through disciplinary reasons as well, and they just struggled for consistency. 10 wins and 6 losses for the year. Certainly better than the 3 sides that finished below them, but weren't really capable of genuinely matching it with the Panton Hills and even Thomastown in that final, although they did have some good wins against Watsonia throughout.
Yeah, but overall I think it was a disappointing year. I think at the start of the year probably predicted they probably could make the grand final, and you'd say injuries and all the rest, but at the end of the day I find it a pretty unsuccessful year for Reservoir, knowing that St Mary's had a probably even worse year. Otherwise they probably could have even missed out on finals this year, Reservoir, but I think they've got a good future there, and we'll see how they go next season.
St Mary's, well, they finished outside of the top 4 for the first time in a couple of years. Of course, they had played finals over the 2011 and 2012 seasons. This year, They had just the 5 wins, of course, the draw against Thomastown, so it wasn't the best return from their 16 matches, but building blocks are certainly in place. A very young side, we know, but it'll be after a new coach, of course, next year as well, but for them it was a year where maybe they had to go backwards to push back to go forwards as well, and they fell back to the pack, but with their reserves being a stronger outfit playing finals, their 19s finishing second in Division 2 under-19s competition, there's certainly plenty to work with, but this year, for whatever reason, they just never got going at any stage of the year.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there this season, but they had all the talent there ready to go, and it just turned out to be an absolute disastrous season. But I'm looking at next season. As I mentioned, their 19s made the grand final, didn't win. Their reserves made finals. Even if you look at it lower, their under 17s also made the preliminary finals. So they do have some bright future there. My only concern, of course, is when you're a Division 3 club and you've got a lot of talented players, you've got Division 1 clubs that will look at some of these players. But if they manage to keep them all, I think they're going to be a strong force, and they should make finals next season.
Dylan Ronalds was the coach's player of the year, so a good I guess, award for him to win there. And I guess scoring was their major problem throughout. Particularly early on in the year, they were struggling to kick that winning score throughout, and I guess they probably need some more attacking prowess going forward to give the players like McLaughlin a chop out up in that forward line. Not the biggest side are they going around, so maybe some height might need to be acquired in that forward half of the ground. Parkside, well, they finished second bottom this year, 4 wins and 12 losses. They beat Panton Hill, and at their best were such a danger side, but you just didn't know what you were going to get each week, and they had some pretty heavy losses along the way. Obviously lacked some depth with their reserve side, struggling over the past couple of years as well, and for them, well, obviously a new start for them. They've been grand finalists for 3 years in a row. Now for 2 years they've been down the bottom end of the table. It'll be interesting to see what approach they take going into next year.
Yeah, well, certainly one of the approaches will have to be recruiting, because I just think, once again, they're just too slow, way too inconsistent, and they just really lost badly. When they lost, they really did lose badly. So I guess we'll have to see how they go during the off-season, but at this stage, I don't really have that much hope for them for next season.
Of course, the youngster Billy Hogan only played a handful of games, played a lot of footy at TAC Cup level, but when he played, they generally won most of their matches as well. So he's a player to watch in the future. And I'm not sure on Andy Bennett's future as well. He suffered a severe injury towards the end of the year as well. It'd be a massive blow if Andy Bennett wasn't running around going into the future for the Parkside team. Finally, we moved to Heidelberg West, who finished bottom of the table this year, 1 win from 15 games. That win coming against Parkside midway through the year. They played so many youngsters right throughout, and we spoke earlier about the South Morang side in Division 2 being one of the younger sides to run around in any metropolitan competition. Heidelberg West not too far away as well. I think at times in the year they had 9 under-19 players playing in the one time as well, and so close on so many occasions to getting that second win. They pushed Reservoir a number of times, Thomastown as well, but they just couldn't find that second win. But although the final scorecard says 1 and 15, it was a disappointing year. They need to now learn how to turn those honourable losses into wins, and if they do that, they're certainly capable of much, much more.
Yeah, certainly, and if Derek Shaw continues on coaching, which I'm sure he will, I think they'll be still a strong force. They've got some good talent there, as you mentioned. They've also got good under-19s. They're going about it the right way, so it's going to take some time. I do expect them to win more games next season, but I do believe they have a bright future there.
In James McLean Brunton, they had the player who finished second in the competition, Best and Fairest Award. Aidan Young was another one who really led from the front. They just say plenty to work with. That's all we have time for. It's the end of another year of NFLTV. We thank you for tuning in each week. Ramon, thank you for your time as well. Hope you enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, I certainly did, and I just can't wait to have a break, but I'm also just can't wait to get back next season again.
Yeah, well, it'll be around soon enough. So thank you for your time this year. We've enjoyed bringing you NFLTV right throughout, and we'll be back bigger and better in season 2014. We'll see you then.